Stop the tape right now, because what I'm about to show you has been buried under 3 months of Trackhouse press releases, and the nation deserves to hear it. Have you noticed something strange, mate? Every time Shane van Gisbergen rolls into the garage at Charlotte, there is a 74-year-old billionaire in a Chevrolet windbreaker who just happens to walk past the number 88 hauler, just happens to stop, just happens to chat. Rick Hendrick, the most powerful man in stock car racing, has been circling our boy for months, and nobody in the American media is connecting the dots. I have spent the last week ringing contacts in the Concord garage, cross-referencing telemetry chatter, and pulling apart every Trackhouse strategy call from Bowman Gray through to Watkins Glen. And what I found is going to absolutely gut you. Because the truth is this: SVG is being quietly shoved into the number 2 slot at his own team. Connor Zilisch is being built into the air, and if Shane doesn't get out, if he doesn't take the Hendrick lifeline that I'm convinced is being dangled, his championship window slams shut by 2028. This is the Hendrick Ultimatum. Let's get into it. Here's the cold, hard truth from the timing sheets. SVG signed a multi-year extension with Trackhouse in August of last year. Justin Marks called it a lock. The press release was glossy. The nation celebrated. Fair enough, we thought our bloke had finally found a home that valued him. Then 6 weeks later, Trackhouse announced Connor Zilisch would replace Daniel Suarez in the number 87, a 19-year-old kid with 10 Xfinity wins in 2025 and an 18-race top 5 streak that broke records. Overnight, the entire organizational gravity shifted. Justin Marks didn't just sign a rookie, he signed the rookie. The one Forbes called the future face of NASCAR. The one Red Bull is throwing 7-figure sponsorship at for the Coca-Cola 600. And here's where it gets ugly. Watch what's happened on the ovals this year. Zilisch, a rookie, is getting the simulator priority. Zilisch is getting the new chassis builds first. SVG, a 3-time Supercars champion, the man who won Chicago in his Cup debut, is being treated like a road course specialist on a leash. His career-best oval finish came at Echo Park Speedway in February 6th. Brilliant drive, 2 spins, gutted his way back. But ask yourself, where was the post-race fanfare from Trackhouse? Where was the celebration? Compare that to the absolute parade they threw when Zilisch qualified inside the top 15 at Daytona. The Watkins Glen win in May, an absolute ripper, 7th Cup victory of his career, and yet within 48 hours, the Trackhouse social channels were back to Zilisch content. Mate, I've watched this pattern in motorsport for 2 decades. When a team starts burying their winner under their rookie's press cycle, the writing is on the wall. But here is what nobody is reporting. Hidden truth number 1, I've been told, and I want to be careful here because this is garage talk, not gospel, that the technical alliance discussions between Trackhouse and Hendrick have quietly cooled in the last 6 months. Trackhouse runs Chevrolet Power, sure, but the data share relationship that made the number 1 and the number 88 fast in 2024 has narrowed. Why? Because Rick Hendrick doesn't hand out his crown jewels for free, and he's reportedly watching one driver specifically. That driver is SVG. Hendrick is not stupid. He saw what Shane did to Kyle Larson at Chicago. He saw the Sonoma demolition job. He saw the COTA masterclass. He knows that in the playoff format, where one road course win can vault you 3 rounds deep, SVG is the most valuable asset in the garage that isn't already on his payroll. Now listen, before I keep going, I need to say something straight up. SVG is fighting the American NASCAR machine on his own. He doesn't have the corporate PR army. He doesn't have the legacy media on his side. He has us, the ANZAC fans, the nation, the mob in Auckland, watching at 4 a.m., the Brisbane diehards who followed him from 888, the Kiwis who treat every green flag like a state of origin decider. If you want to be his voice in the stands, if you want Justin Marks and Rick Hendrick to see how loud the ANZAC contingent really is, hit subscribe right now. We are building the largest ANZAC NASCAR community on YouTube, and every single one of you matters. Fair dinkum. This isn't a sub-beg, this is tribal loyalty. Let's show them. Right, back to the carnage, let's talk about the seat. The number 48, Alex Bowman. Bowman is signed through the end of 2026. His sponsor, Ali, is locked through 2028. That's a critical detail because the money stays with the car, not the driver. Jeff Andrews from Hendrick has publicly said they're negotiating an extension, but read between the lines, mate. That's corporate speak for we're keeping options open. Multiple insiders, including the Door, Bumper, Clear podcast crew who broke the original Bowman rumors back in late 2024, have flagged that Bowman could be on a one-year prove-it deal at best. That means the most coveted seat in American motorsport is potentially open for 2027, and there are only 3 drivers on planet Earth who could conceivably fill it. Kyle Larson is already in the 5. William Byron is locked in the 24. Chase Elliott is the franchise face in the 9. The 4th seat needs a closer, a finisher, a driver who can win when it matters most. That is SVG, full stop. Hendrick has the chassis program, the engine alliance, the engineering depth, and the playoff-tested pit crews. Trackhouse has 2 cars in the playoffs on a good year and a rookie soaking up all the development hours. Do the maths. Here's hidden truth number 2, and this one will rattle you. The contract extension SVG signed last August. Look closely at the language. Trackhouse's own release said multiple years. The Tennessean reported it keeps him through at least 2027. Notice that wording at least. There is wiggle room in that deal. There are performance clauses. There are mutual options. I cannot prove it, but I have it on good authority from 2 separate paddock sources that there is a release window tied to manufacturer alignment. In plain English, if a Chevrolet flagship team, and Hendrick is the Chevrolet flagship, formally requests SVG's services for 2027, Trackhouse may not be able to block it. They'd get compensation. They'd get a development driver in return, but they couldn't legally hold him hostage. This is exactly the kind of clause that Rick Hendrick's legal team would have flagged the moment the ink dried. Now, some of you are going to say, what about 23X Wine? Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Riley Herbst, could SVG slot in there? Mate, I love the Jordan Hamlin operation, but be honest, 23X1 is a Toyota team. SVG's entire NASCAR identity is bonded to the Chevrolet Camaro program. A manufacturer switch mid-career at 37 years old is career suicide. You spend the first 18 months relearning a completely different engine package, different aero balance, different sim correlation. By the time you're competitive, your prime is gone. 23X1 is not the answer. It is a red herring being floated by people who don't understand the manufacturer politics. Hendrick is the only Chevrolet team with the resources to win a championship in the next 3 years. Richard Childress is rebuilding. Trackhouse is splitting focus. Spire is years away. The 48 is the door. The only door. And here's the final piece. Hidden truth. Number 3. Rick Hendrick personally attended the Watkins Glen race weekend in May. Documented, photographed in the Chevrolet hospitality suite. He stayed for the SVG victory celebration. He shook hands. He smiled. And this is the part nobody reported. He reportedly had a 25-minute closed-door conversation with SVG's management before flying out on the Monday morning. Now, Hendrick attends lots of races. He's the boss. But 25 minutes with a competitor's driver's management immediately after a win in a contract year scenario, that is not a coincidence. That is a recruitment pitch. The Hendrick Ultimatum is real. The question is whether Shane has the courage to take it. So here's where I land, nation. SVG at Trackhouse is a beautifully wrapped cage. He'll win road courses. He'll get the occasional oval top 10. He'll be a fan favorite, but he will never win a cup championship in that equipment because the organization has already decided Zilisch is the future and Shane is the bridge. Hendrick is the only path. The 48 is the only seat. 2027 is the only window. If he doesn't make the jump, we will spend the next decade watching the most talented road racer of his generation finish 12th in points and wonder what could have been. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments right now and be brutal. Option A, SVG stays loyal to Trackhouse and trusts Justin Marks to deliver. Option B, SVG takes the Hendrick deal and becomes a Cup champion in 2028. Option C, SVG shocks everyone, jumps to 23x1 and switches to Toyota. There is no fence to sit on. Pick one. Defend it. Let's see what the nation really believes. I'm reading every comment. The ANZAC mob built this channel. Let's keep building it. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay loud, stay loyal, long live the nation.